Hello and a very warm welcome to the IELTS Mastery Podcast. I'm Emma, your guide to reaching that elusive Band 9. Today, we are tackling a topic that is frankly inescapable in modern life.
Hey everyone, Alex here, and yeah, inescapable is the right word. We're talking about social media, but not just the general stuff. We are diving deep into the psychology of it, addiction, the illusion of perfection, and how to talk about these heavy concepts in your exam.
Precisely. This is a goldmine for speaking Part 3 and writing Task 2. You know, examiners often ask about technology, but they want you to move past the basic "it connects people" arguments. They want critical thinking.
Right. They want to know if you can discuss the psychological impact. So we've got some high-level vocabulary today that will definitely boost your lexical resource score.
Shall we jump right in?
Let's do it. But before we break down the words, let's eavesdrop on a situation I think we have all seen or maybe even been part of at a restaurant.
Oh dear, I have a feeling I know what's coming. Let's listen to the scene.
Finally, that took 40 minutes. The burger looks incredible. I'm digging in.
Wait, stop. Don't touch the fries yet.
Lisa, come on, I'm starving.
Just give me a second. The lighting is perfect. If I angle it this way, and one from above.
The cheese is congealing, Lisa.
Ugh, relax. I need to post this. My followers expect a curated reality, Tom. If I don't post the brunch aesthetic, did it even happen?
Yes, it happened, and now it's getting cold. You know, it's weird how much you seek validation from strangers.
It's not validation, it's community. Besides, look at this filter. It makes my skin look flawless.
It makes you look like a plastic doll. Honestly, this obsession has a detrimental impact on your actual life. We haven't spoken in 10 minutes because you've been editing photos of a salad.
You're just jealous because you don't get the engagement I do. It's a rush, okay?
No, it's a vicious cycle. You post, you get a dopamine hit, you feel anxious when it fades, so you post again. Meanwhile, your actual burger is stone cold.
Ooh, 50 likes in 30 seconds. See? Totally worth it. Now move your arm, you're ruining the background.
Ouch, that was painful to listen to. Poor Tom.
I know, right? But honestly, I've been Lisa before. You get that perfect lighting and you just have to capture it. But let's look at the language they used, because it was actually quite sophisticated despite the argument.
Indeed. The first phrase Lisa used was curated reality. This is a beautiful collocation for writing Task 2.
Yeah, so curated usually refers to a museum, right? Like a curator choosing the best art.
Exactly. So when we say curated reality, we mean a version of life that has been carefully selected and edited to look perfect. It implies that the messy or ugly parts of life are hidden. It's a lie, essentially.
Right. So if you get a writing prompt about the dangers of Instagram, you can say, users present a curated reality that leads to feelings of inadequacy in others.
Perfect. That leads us to the next phrase Tom used, seek validation.
This is a big one. To seek validation means looking for approval or confirmation of your worth from others. In the scene, Lisa needed likes to feel good about herself.
It's quite sad, really. In an exam context, you could argue that teenagers often seek validation through online metrics rather than real-world achievements.
Which connects perfectly to Tom's observation that this has a detrimental impact.
This is a fantastic alternative to saying bad effect. Detrimental means tending to cause harm. It's strong and academic.
So not just it's bad for you, but social media addiction has a detrimental impact on mental health.
Precisely. And finally, Tom described the whole process as a vicious cycle.
A loop that gets worse and worse. You feel bad, so you scroll, which makes you feel worse, so you scroll more.
Correct. Using idioms like a vicious cycle naturally in speaking Part 3 is a great way to push your score toward a Band 8 or 9. It shows you understand idiomatic language in a relevant context.
Okay, Emma, let's put this into practice. Why don't you play the examiner and I'll be the student?
Sounds like a plan. I'm going to ask you a Part 3 style question. I want you to answer using at least one of the phrases we just discussed. Ready?
I was born ready.
All right, here is the question. To what extent do you think social media affects the self-esteem of young people?
That's a significant issue. Well, generally speaking, I believe it can be quite harmful. The main problem is that influencers present a curated reality, showing only their best moments in edited photos. When young people compare their everyday lives to these impossible standards, it inevitably has a detrimental impact on their confidence. They end up feeling like they aren't enough.
Fantastic answer, Alex.
Thanks, I managed to squeeze 2 of them in there.
You did. And notice, listeners, how Alex used "the main problem is" to structure his thought before dropping in the vocabulary. That cohesion is key.
Speaking of cohesion, let's do a quick strategy tip for writing task 2 before we wrap up.
Good idea. When you are writing an essay about social media, avoid generalizations like "everyone is addicted."
Yeah, examiners hate that. It's too broad.
Instead, use hedging language. Use words like "tend to," "often," or "in many cases."
So instead of "social media destroys relationships," say "excessive use of social media can have a detrimental impact on face-to-face relationships."
Exactly. That little modal verb "can" makes your argument more academic and harder to disprove. It shows nuance, which is a requirement for Band 7 and above.
All right, that's all the time we have for today. Hopefully you won't look at your Instagram feed the same way again.
Or at least you'll have the right vocabulary to describe it when you do. Remember to subscribe to the podcast for more high-level lessons.
And don't forget to practice using Curated Reality and Vicious Cycle in your own sentences this week. Catch you next time.
Goodbye, everyone, and happy studying.